What's up, guys? Mike Patrick. In this video, guys, this is going to be underpinning the video that I just did. Critical thinking, live action role plays. The video that's uploaded right before this one right here. So if you haven't seen that video, in order to tie all this in together, or to tie this exercise in, and to make sense of it, as far as this critical thinking, live action role play exercise, okay? Go watch that first video, okay? And the title will be something similar, okay? The thing is, because once again, it's a few good points that I didn't make in that first video to tie it all in. All right, so I was talking about how if you were sophisticated and you was in control of something the whole time, but you was behind the scenes, right? Let's just say you was behind the scenes controlling something, all right? Now, and then there came a time where you wanted to switch the order up, I guess, or just change things around, okay? You've been in control, so it's not a matter of taking control of something. It's just changing the dynamics of it, okay? How would you enforce? Okay, now this is the thing, right? When you controlling something, what really gives control? It would have to be power, right? Like, otherwise people can buck. Like, think about it, right? The reason that America has control over most of the world is because we have the most powerful military, right? Because when it gets right down to it, especially the more primitive a life form is, right? When it gets down to it, it's straight up about power. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as who's going to control what, right? Let's face it. And so, it, the if you have a big military that's very sophisticated with its weapons and things of that nature, then it's going to be in control of all the inferior places. You know, all the militaries that's inferior to it, right? So you look at critical thinking, analytical thinking, live action role play. You think about, all right, when I was talking about how, let's say you're leasing a car, right? And now it comes to a point where you haven't paid that car off. And now the bank comes, okay? The bank comes to say, all right, time's up. I need the car back. We're gonna repo the car because you haven't been paying your debt. Now this is the thing, right? The money, when you set this whole thing up as a bank, the money means nothing to you. We said it was about the power, right? So the thing is, right, you know that they're not going to pay the debt back, and you don't want them to pay the debt back because it was never about the money. It was about keeping a certain amount of control and playing a certain game for a certain amount of time until you don't want to play that game no more, okay? And then you're just going to take back from them what you want. But the thing about it is, right, in decency, right, and with sophistication, you don't want to seem animalistic. You don't want to seem primitive. So what you do, you let someone else, you let them make the agreement, all right? Therefore, when you come back, therefore you agreed, you signed on this dotted line that you got to pay me $600 a month until you pay off $25,000 for this car, okay? Now, you don't ever want them to actually pay that off because the money means nothing to you anyway. You see what I'm saying? But it's almost like an agreement and a deal that has to be given. Like, you can't just, if they pay that money back, it's something, I guess you could say, within the cosmos from a karmic standpoint, and trying to be decent and playing by certain rules where, you know, you got to give them a chance to pay that off. And if they do, then maybe things can continue. Then, you know, it's their car. But you know, let's just say you know they're never going to actually pay that car off, okay? And then that will justify you coming in and taking that car. Make sense? Then you ask yourself, well, how do you take something? How can you take something from somebody without pure force and power? Because now, for example, right, so the bank could send the repo man to your house. Let's say the repo man is, let's say you're Bruce Lee in his prime, right? And the repo man can't fight a lick. And let's say you strapped, you got weapons and all kinds of things. Like, at the end of the day, that repo, man, you might, let's say you buck on that repo, man, and say, you're not taking this car. I don't care. I don't care if I owe, I don't care how much money I owe and things like that. You're not taking this car. And I'm sure things like that happen, right? Um, so at the end of the day, how you would really enforce that is the whole time you got to really be truly much more powerful than who you are in debt to in order to enforce the rules of that engagement, if that makes sense. And so how you would get set up maybe is you thinking like, all right, man, you looking around, you like, man, that's the repo, man. He ain't no big deal. If he come try to take this car, forget it, man. Things are muck, whatever. I ran out of money. I ain't playing this game no more. I'm teed off. I'm peed off. Man, look, I got my guns. You know what I'm saying? I'm trained in martial arts. This, that, and the third. I wish that little repo man would come try to take something, right? Um, then all of a sudden, like all of a sudden, just let's just say, like, come to find out that repo man got weapons way more sophisticated than your guns. Um, they're way more advanced in martial arts than you and all that. And just because you didn't see that and you only was able to perceive what was right in front of you, you know what I'm saying? And you was basically given a choice, like given a choice to see how you would react. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, if you could buck, let's see if they try to buck. Like, and so what if somebody just walking you into that? Like, go ahead, like walking you into bucking just to create a certain situation. Like, you got to think of with masterminds, okay? Mastermind is always 10, 11 steps ahead of the game. So anything that people naturally just do, what seems natural and easy, a mastermind always knows that those are probably going to be the 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 natural movements and the natural progression of what it has mastered. Okay, when if you understand somebody and things like that, if you master them, okay, then you already know what their reactions are going to be, and you're probably manipulating their actions, if that makes sense. Nothing's going to catch you off guard. You know what I mean? So that's another thing I was thinking about it. So, I was thinking about like, you know, uh, it would be a thing like where they're probably ready for a fight. I'm sure. You know what I'm saying? The fight's probably not going to catch them off guard. Um, and so that's just another, like I said, another. Now I think that pretty much ties it all the way in together. But I forgot to say that in the first video. Um, and then, like I said, like once again, like I said, it's critical thinking. It's just something to think about. You know what I mean? Like I said, if nothing else, it helps you with your mind and just critical thinking and just trying to be analytical and map things out and stuff like that, and just thinking. It's for exercise. A mind exercise is no different than crossword puzzles and riddles and things like that. All right, guys, peace.